Hey guys, what's up? George here, aka T-WreckSs, bringing you another Raid Shadow Legends video, and today we are talking early game arena. I've been chatting with my guys in the Twitch chat at twitch.tv/T-WreckSs. I'm live there pretty much every day but Saturdays, almost always 2 times a day, once in the morning in the UK and once in the evening, just to cover everybody's time zones. And we've been talking about the early game arena. I've got a few of my friends in there struggling with moving up from bronze, moving up from silver, and myself, I'm stuck in gold 3. However, I have the champs to be in gold 4 and above, but you have to have the right gear and you have to have the right setup. So we're going to talk about what you need to look for and a couple of champs that you might be able to use to help you progress through that early stage. So first up, what you're looking for, and what is probably the most important thing, in fact is the most important thing in arena, is speed. If you are faster than your opponent and you can go through and get your nukers to go, then you will more than likely win that battle. So let's talk about what we need for that. First thing you probably want to look for is a speed lead aura. Obviously, you all know who Arbiter is. You've seen Arbiter a lot. You probably don't have Arbiter, but I'm just using her as an example. She has the speed aura of 30% ally speed in the arena. Now, any speed aura will do. One that you can get through the campaign, if you go to Durham Forest, stage 4, you can farm the champion Spirit Host. If you get lucky, she will drop for you, and she is actually very, very good for early game arena. Not only does she have speed lead in all battles, so you'll get an extra 10% speed, which does make a big difference. She has a remove all debuffs and block debuffs, so if you get her going first, none of your champs are going to get debuffed with decreased defense or decreased attack. She has an increased attack, which is nice, but not great. And then she has an attack which heals by 50%, so she self-sustains. So she speeds everyone up, she stops you getting hurt, she increases your attack, and she heals herself. So she's actually a killer champ for early game arena. So if you can farm that stage 4, any of the levels on stage 4, to get some crit rate gear while you're at it, and hopefully you'll get her drop. She is a fantastic arena lead early game. There are other options, of course. If you've been playing for a certain amount of time, you will get the daily login reward of High Katoon. If I can find my High Katoon, I will show you what she looks like. There she is right here. She also has a speed lead aura, and she does 19% in all battles, so you get an extra 9% on top of Spirit Host if you've been logging in for long enough. Now this is where things start to cross over, because the second thing you may want to look for, now this isn't necessarily something you definitely need, but it really helps on top of that speed aura, is a speed or turn meter booster. And what that does is, as soon as they go, if they're the first person to go in your team and they go first, they boost the turn meter and speed of all your other champs, which makes sure that your champs go next and nobody from the enemy team can cut in and do any debuffs or damage to you. This is where High Katoon is really, really nice, because not only does she have the speed lead aura, but she has this A2, Rally the Horde. Once you ascend her to 3 stars, fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% and puts a 30% increased speed on them for 2 turns. So on top of the 19% speed, you then get another 30% speed boost. Now, the speed boost and the aura only apply to your base speed, but they do combine. So your speed zooms right back up and you get 15% turn meter, which normally tips you over that 100%, and you get to take your turn. If you don't have High Katoon and you are using Spirit Host, another great option, if you're lucky enough to have pulled him because he is not farmable, is Apothecary. Apothecary obviously has this boon of speed. Once ascended, places a 30% increased speed, so the same as High Katoon, and fills the turn meter by 15% for all allies. So that's essentially exactly the same skill, except High Katoon has the speed lead aura. So you actually get your speed lead and your speed up, your speed boost, all in one champion there. Whereas if you're using Spirit Host and Apothecary, they're taking 2 of your 4 slots. Then something that it's really, really nice to have, if they haven't blocked debuffs like you will with Spirit Host, is someone who can place debuffs. Decrease defense and decrease attack are 2 of the best debuffs in the game. A rare you can farm for this in one of the stages of the campaign is War Maiden. On her A3, once she's ascended, she attacks all enemies, so this attacks everyone, and she has a 75% chance booked up to 100 of placing the 60% decreased defense, which is the big decreased defense. So They lose 60% of their defense, which means your next champion, which will hopefully be your nuke champion, your champion with as much attack and crit rate and crit damage and power as you can get, will come in and kill that whole enemy team. She does that for you. Or if you've been playing since the battle pass, you may well have Stag Knight. He's extra doubly cool because he has decreased defense and decreased attack in one move, and he hits pretty hard too if you build him right. So you can use that to lay the decreased defense, so they will take more damage and they will do less damage to yours if they do manage to get in. So we've gone speed lead / speed boost, or if you can combine them into one, fantastic. We've then got some kind of debuff, hopefully a decreased defense debuff if you can get it in there, or if somebody's got a stun or a sleep. War Maiden, for example, you can put her in stun gear, and then when she does her AoE, there's a chance she'll stun them as well, which slows them down. Or an epic that you might be lucky to pull from things is Sylar. There are a lot of others that have this, but if you put her in a stun set, she can also stun. Anyone with AoE attacks can stun. Then you want your nuker to come in. So if you've gone speed lead, speed up, decreased defense, you then want your nuker to come in and smack down with big power. The best nuker for you early game is your starter. Hopefully you picked Kale as a starter. He can be built really, really hard hitting all the way into quite high gold. I still face up Kale's. With his AoE attack, there's an extra chance to crit. So you don't even worry about having a 100% crit rate, which means you can put more crit damage on him. And he fills his own turn meter, so he then gets to go again quicker. He also has poison, so he has other utility. So hopefully you had him. If you didn't, someone like Aethel is also really good in the arena. She gives herself an increased attack and increased defense buff, and then goes again and again. She has an AoE with a 15% chance to crit. There's also Elaine, who is the High Elf starter, and Gaelic, and all four of those champions can be used as an arena nuker early on in the game. Like I said, hopefully you picked Kale. He is, in my opinion, the best starter. I didn't pick him. I've regretted it ever since. I'm now at a point where that doesn't matter so much, but that's what you want. The four principles. You want speed lead, speed booster, decreased defense and attack if you can get it, or just decreased defense is probably better for you, especially if your nuker is hard hitting enough. And then some kind of nuker, some kind of serious damage. Now, you're running that in attack. You're probably running exactly the same team in defense when you first start off. It's not till the later game in the arena where you'll be considering running different things in defense to attack. I'm in gold 3. I have been in gold 4. I've never been as high as plat. But for me, I actually run a tanky defense with a speed lead and speed boost in Arbiter, followed by two champions that people like to avoid because they have a reviver, and then obviously Madam for the debuffs. Most people don't bother attacking me at the moment, which is really great. If you're watching this video and you're in gold 3 and you see me, please don't attack me. I'd really appreciate it. But I'm just going to give a few honorable mentions to a couple of other champs that early game you might not have, but there is a chance you got lucky and you pulled them from a shard, and if you have got them, they're fantastic arena champions earlier on. One that's very tricky to get but can fill the role of speed lead and nuker is Skull Crown. She has the speed lead in the arena battles and she hits really, really hard. We also have people like Gorgorab. He is a speed lead and speed booster, so he is similar to High Katoon, but I think his speed lead is higher, and he can also revive if your champions die. So if you make him speedy and tanky, he's the last person alive on your team. He can bring your whole team back, and then your nukers can go in and kill again, which is fantastic. And then the last one I just want to give an honorable mention to is Seeker. He's a little bit different when it comes to it. He's a defensive lead, so he's actually quite good for arena defense. But again, he has this fills turn meter by 30%, but he puts an increased attack on as well. So he's similar to Arbiter. He fills your turn meter, but there's no speed boost there. But your turn meter goes up, you get to take your turn. And I had one more that I'm just going to mention. He's a Void Rare, so he's slightly harder to get than the other rares or the login rewards, but he also has a turn meter here. Right here, fills a turn meter of 30% and puts an increased defense. So it's sort of the flip opposite of the one I just spoke of. Fills turn meter by 30% still, fantastic. Increased defense, really good for your team. If you can get him in there, that's quite nice. But his aura isn't great. So if you can, farm yourself a Spirit Host. Use her in conjunction with someone like Apothecary or someone who can speed boost. You can even use her and High Katoon together, although there's not much point there because High Katoon already has that speed aura. So once you have that many days logged in, it is worth taking High Katoon to 50 in my opinion. Then you can find yourself a War Maiden from one of the campaign levels and use her for decreased defense. and then use your starter as your nuker, and hopefully that will take you through. You will find it very, very hard to get out of Bronze 1, Bronze 2 and Bronze 3 when you first start. The problem there is people who are inactive in the higher tiers of the arena, after a certain amount of days, drop down into the lower levels and they're never removed. So you end up having really heavy teams in the much lower levels. So pick your battles carefully, use that kind of structure on your arena team to start off, and that actually will carry you through right till the end game, until you get to that point where you really need certain champions to be able to be competitive. In Platinum Arena, for example, I don't have the champs for Plat, but I could be in mid to high gold 4 with my champs once they're finished building them. Another quick point to make, build your champs. Haikatoon to 50 for sure. War Maiden definitely to 60 if you have her. She's great in all the dungeons as well. Build them up. People have been coming to me asking for help and their champions are all level 50 with no masteries and not very good gear. You need good gear, you need level 60 fully ascended, and you need to do masteries in order to do some serious damage in this game. This is a grindy game. Spend your time, enjoy yourself. Check out my streams daily. Check out all my other YouTube videos if you haven't already. Please subscribe. We just crossed 100 subscribers. It's fantastic and I'm loving the community that we're building here. I'll see you in the next video, and don't forget, get online and get wrecking.